Hey, everybody, and welcome to Mason Plus. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Appreciate all you guys. Great show today. Killer show. A little bit later on, two friends of mine who you probably know. Kevin Reece, the world-renowned sports photographer and visual artist, along with Lindsey Thiry, who covers the NFL for ESPN. Both going to be with me. We'll do a little round robin, some of Kevin's photography, Lindsey's take on Aaron Donald and the Rams, plus thumbs up, thumbs down. That's a little bit later on the show. Now, we're going to kick it off with a guy who I just find to be so funny on Abbot Elementary. He plays Mr. Johnson. His name is William Stanford Davis. Great guy, great actor, really funny. Here's my conversation with William Stanford Davis. William Stanford Davis, thank you so much for doing this, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for having me, man.
So I have been told that the people you know call you Stan.
Yes. Yeah.
Am I allowed to call you Stan?
I think so. That means that we're cool. That means that we've become friends. And I told you I've listened to you guys for years, so I feel like we're friends. But yes, to answer your question, please do.
All right, Stan it is. Thank you for that. Now, we mentioned radio. You've listened to me and John for a long time. You actually started in radio. I got on the air when I was 15 years old. How old were you when you started in radio?
In radio, I started probably at 19. Yeah, maybe 19, 20, right in that area. But I DJ'd quite a bit. I DJ'd in clubs at an early age, and I was into music from as far back as I can remember.
So your first radio job, what station was it, and what was the format and all that stuff?
It was college radio, like we all start in college radio. It was called KLUM-FM, KLUM-FM, and so Lincoln University. And, excuse me, KLUM-FM Music 88.9, you're on the BJ Miles gig, you dig. So that was,
So your name was BJ Miles at that point?
Yeah, and a lot of DJs back in the 70s had a J at the end of that. Tony J the DJ, Bobby J or whatever, So everybody had kind of a J to kind of rhyme. And that's when personality radio was like really strong.
Yeah. It was a fun radio for me has always been, and I mentioned I've been on the air since I was 15, over 50 years now. I've been on the air, but it is, I find it to be the most freeing format. Like you can say stuff on radio that you can't say on TV. There's a looseness and a casualness, and also that connection through the speaker to the listener, I think is really valuable. What made radio a great training ground for what you do now?
I loved entertaining, and it helped me confidence-wise, of course. But one of the compliments I get from what I'm doing now is that I bring a lot of joy to people. And I think that's the highest compliment you can be paid. And that's what happened for me when I was working in radio. I got a lot of fan mail. I got a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, you made my day," or that type of thing, that I was having a bad day and I listened to your show and everything changed. So it helped me in that way, but it also helped me to learn the craft, to learn, because people don't think of what we do or what you do as a craft that has to be learned. They think this is just something that I've had people tell me, man, if you can do it, anyone can do it. No, it's a craft that has to be learned. You have to learn every aspect of it. And with radio, I learned everything. I followed not just the program director, but the engineers around. And back then, I had to take a third-class FCC license.
Really?
Yes.
Did you have to do the thing that every hour you had to write down on some that? I had that gig too. I had the write down the signal or the towers working, all that kind of stuff.
Right, all of that. Yeah. All about that. But yes, we had to do all of that.
Now you've got a script, and a really good one when you go to work every week on Abbot Elementary. You acted for a long time. You worked for a long time, and it seems like you hit it all of a sudden. Like, I don't, late 60s, early, I don't know. How old are you?
Well, I'll be 75 on my next birthday.
Oh, man.
A month and about August 7th, just to be clear. Yeah, I'll be 75. It's been a minute.
Yeah. So tell me about the years before Abbott Elementary, being sort of a working actor, but never hitting the big starring role.
That's all I ever wanted to be. I worked with a lot of young actors. I even taught some classes for a few years, of course, to help keep the lights on. But one of the things that I just wanted to be a working actor, just a working actor. And I was blessed over the last 20 years to have been a working actor. I had some recurs on some big shows, and I had a lot of guest stars. And I cut my teeth, as they say, on episodic television. I never really did many comedies. And that's basically, once again, keeping the lights on, but being a working actor was all I ever dreamed of being. And that dream came true. As far as Abbott is concerned, I joke with Quinta and the other cast. I let them know the way I feel about it. I hope this is just a part of the journey and not the destination. So yeah, I'm still out here, and I encourage people to follow your dream. Don't give up. And if you do get on a show or lucky enough to be on a show like Abbott Elementary, do not make that the destination. Should keep on looking for other things, other avenues, theater, whatever it is, and keep moving.
So and by the way, Abbott Elementary is one of the funniest shows on TV. It is so smart. It is so funny. You're great on it. How did Quinta Brunson find you for the role of Mr. Johnson?
She was very specific about the actors she wanted for every role. This was done during COVID, so you never really had any kind of face-to-face or hand, go in and shake hands with people. Everything was done on video, on tape. And I submitted my tape, and I'd forgotten about the audition. I'd forgotten about it. My wife was a talent manager. She told me one day, you booked that job. It was very casual. I said, like, what job is that? She said, the job about the school. And I'd forgotten that I'd auditioned for this school.
Wow. So it was a pre-tape at home?
Yeah, pre-tape at home, yeah.
Wow.
Pre-tape at home. And I encourage people to leave it there, and that's a muscle actors have to develop, to do the audition and just go on about your business. Don't
just let it go.
Yeah, let it go. And I got into that place in my career where I just do it, leave it there, go play golf, go and hang out with my buddies or something, And she told me that I booked it, and I was like, okay, what school? And she told me, and I showed up for the wardrobe fitting, and they said the director's on the phone. He wants to see you dance. I'm like, that's strange. He wants to see me dance. Yeah. So, in fact, he wants to see you dance with a broom. I'm like, okay. And, it's kind of weird, man, because I hadn't really, I thought it was just going to be a day or so. So I said, sure, dance with the broom. He said, see you on the set. And that's basically where it kind of started. And back to your original question, Quinta was very specific about the type of people, the type of person she wanted for each role. And I'm just so thankful that I was that guy for this role.
Yeah. When I watch the show, I always think, man, I would like to have gone to school at Abbott Elementary. It would have been a really cool, I think the teachers are amazing. I think as a kid, I would love to be a student at Abbott Elementary.
I was a student at a school like Abbott Elementary.
Yeah.
Very caring teachers. My first elementary school in St. Louis, very caring teachers, a nosy janitor who knows everyone's business. And, if I skipped school, what we used to call playing hooky, he said, I didn't see you here yesterday. He'd let me know. I know I know you played hooky.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Clever, don't tell anybody, And I kind of fashioned Mr. Johnson a little bit after this guy too.
Yeah. By the way, I also understand you fashioned Mr. Johnson after your grandmother on your dad's side. Yes. Do I have that right? Yes. Tell me how that works. How did that figure in to the character of Mr. Johnson?
She was I'm glad she's not here to hear this. She was she was enigmatic, and she was a conspiracy theorist. She didn't believe anything, and she was super, super nosy. She was in everybody's business, And man, I loved her so much. And so when it came to like the moon landing, she's like, them people ain't been to no moon. I said, I call it. But then how they get there? How did they get there? Were the TV cameras there when they got there? Because they showed it on TV. And, and she would, and it all made good sense. It made sense. And sometimes she would do it just to mess with us too, But yeah, I some of Mr. Johnson I get.
So Mr. Johnson has had lots of jobs and assignments and careers before landing at Abbot Elementary. Mr. Johnson was a state senator, almost a judge on American Idol.
Yes.
Have you ever kept account of how many jobs and positions Mr. Johnson had before he went to Abbott Elementary?
Close to 400. That's
400?
Close to 400 jobs. That's what we say. He said close to 400 jobs. He was in La Cosa Nostra,
Yes.
The writing on the show is so just so delicious. And whatever they say, he's a baseball budding coach. He was a tastefully nude model, With my body, it had to be very tasteful, But it's the writing, man. It makes it all so, I call it believable. I think he's had 400 jobs.
Yeah, it feels really honest and really very real.
Yeah.
In fact,
I've had close to that many jobs in my life too.
You have? Yeah. What was the toughest job you ever had?
I worked in a brickyard. In fact, I worked in two separate brickyards. I worked in one in Missouri and one in Texas. I worked at a truck stop. I worked the short order grill at a truck stop. I've had some crazy jobs. Telemarketer, limo driver. I drove a lot of people that I work with now. I drove Sidney Poitier at one time. And
really?
That was like the biggest, deal. We had flip phones back then. And I tried to call my mother and tell her, that I was 40 in a car, and he was like, drive up, please keep your hands on the wheel. And yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, okay. So there you are. You're driving Sidney Poitier.
Yes, sir.
At that point in your head, are you thinking someday I'm going to do what that guy does?
Yes. Yeah. That I call it my square job. I had my audition clothes in the trunk of the car next to his bags. So I would go to auditions in between pickups. And the real great thing about that was I was able to speak with him later, actor to actor.
Oh, that is very cool. What was that conversation like?
I'm a member of the actor studio, and he came and did a panel one evening. And I reminded him that I'd driven him, and he didn't remember that.
Yeah.
And we talked about theater, and he was very encouraging. He told me to never give up, to keep doing the work. And that alone just, that touched my heart.
Yeah.
That he would even take that kind of time to he's so approachable. That's what a lot of people didn't know. He was very approachable, very, very amicable, just a real nice guy, except when I was driving and trying to use the phone.
There you go. By the way, I was a driver on a movie called Monkey Shines in 1987.
Wow.
And I was a driver for Stanley Tucci.
Really?
Who was a fantastic, who couldn't pick me out of a lineup today, but I had such a really great ongoing conversation with him. Such a great guy.
Yeah.
But that was my square job, I guess.
Yeah.
Driving Stanley.
I love driving Stanley Tucci. I admire his work. I think
he's just so good. Now, you are a St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan, right?
I am. Yes. And what was hard to say that in living in Los Angeles.
Yes, you can say it. Yeah. What was your first baseball game? Who was in it? Who played? All that stuff.
My first baseball game was going to see the Milwaukee Braves play. And when I got there, I saw Stan Musial. That's how old I am. And I had never been into a stadium like this. Was Old Sportsman's Park in St. Louis. The green of the grass, everything was just like, wow, it was beautiful. But the reason we went because Hank Aaron was in town.
Oh yeah.
And my uncle took us to see Hank Aaron. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And it was just, I remember it like it was yesterday. I think I'm eight years old, maybe. And I'm just.
So your first baseball game had both Stan Musial and, I mean, that was a game you went to, right?
Yeah. Yes. I couldn't name any of the other players on both teams at this time, but I knew the Stan Musial. I'm looking at him right there.
Henry Aaron.
And Henry Aaron, yes, sir.
Yeah. Who do you think is the all-time home? And I have an answer, but who do you think is the all-time home run champ in Major League Baseball?
Wow, that's a great question. Wow, man.
Because Henry Aaron held the record, then Barry Bonds blew right by it. Do you consider Barry Bonds the legitimate home run champ?
You know, I've had this conversation with so many people. To me, it's Hank Aaron, I should say. But you have to give it to Barry Bonds, too. It's just like, come on, you know, I'm old school. I'm not putting any shade on Barry Bonds, but for me, it's Hank Aaron.
It is for me, too. I used to know when Frank Robinson was alive, I got to know Frank Robinson a little bit.
Right.
And he made no bones about it. Barry Bonds, not legit. Steroids were a scourge. Never thought a steroid guy should be in the Hall of Fame. I agree with that. Like, if I had a vote, I wouldn't vote for Barry Bonds. I wouldn't vote for Roger Clemens. I wouldn't vote for the guys that used, because for me, it's not legit. Do you have the same feeling?
Yeah, I saw Roger Clemens pitch a Yankees game where he pitches 300. I was
really
against Minnesota, I believe it was. I think.
Yeah,
I remember right. And as much as we stood and gave him an ovation or anything, everybody knew that it was steroid related.
Yeah,
and you know, then you have people telling, well, the guys used greenies back in the day, and they used this, they used that, especially when they were doing double headers and things like that.
Sure.
Yeah. So at some point, somebody used something.
Yeah. Right.
But nothing like a steroid. Steroid, something to change your strength and your endurance, I should say.
So you mentioned seeing Henry Aaron, seeing Stan Musial.
Yes.
Have you seen this guy named Shohei Ohtani?
Yes. I was at the game last year where he hit 3 out of the park, the playoff game.
I was at that game too. He also struck out 10.
Yeah, he struck out 10. And I don't know which. Someone asked me this question. Did you hear the sound of the bat? I'm like, yeah, I heard the sound of the bat, but did you hear the sound of the catcher's mitt when this man was throwing that ball?
Yeah.
It sounded like a gun going off, pow, and that was my wife's first baseball game. My wife is from London, so I had to tell her what was going on, but she loved every minute of it as well. But yeah, I was at that game.
And what do you think of Ohtani? Is he the greatest player of all time?
He looks like it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Bob Gibson pitch. I've seen, like I said, Henry Aaron hit the ball. I've seen Willie Mays. Oh my God! But this guy, what's the kid? I'm having a senior moment now. That played for St. Louis.
Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols. But Shohei looks like he's the real deal, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I always say, yeah, I've seen a guy hit 3 home runs before, but I've never seen a guy hit 3 home runs and strike out 10 in the same game.
In the same game, yeah. 3 out of the park, yeah.
That's just insane.
Yeah.
You are now.
But I also, can I say this?
Yeah, sure.
Schwarber, we shot an episode of Abbott in Philadelphia, and we were there the night that Schwarber hit 4 home runs out of the park.
He was
a guest on our show.
That is more rare than a perfect game.
Yes, it is. Yes,
to see. I got to go to 1 4 home run game. I saw J.D. Martinez do it for the Diamondbacks at Dodger Stadium. Hit 4 home runs. I've never been to a no hitter. I've never been to obviously a perfect game. There've only been, I think, 24 of them. Have you ever been to a no hitter?
Not a no hitter, but close. I saw Bob Gibson and Don Drysdale go at each other. I saw Sandy Koufax play against the Cardinals. I forgot who pitched that game. I was hoping I'd see him and Gibson go at each other. I'm sure they have at some point, but I never saw it.
Right.
To answer your question, no, I've never seen a no-hitter.
Yeah. I that's like my dream is to see a no-hitter.
Right.
And literally, like when I'm at a game and it's the third inning and somebody gets a hit in the fourth, I'll always say, well, there goes the no-hitter.
Those are no-hitter.
There it goes. So you are now a Screen Actors Guild Award winner.
Yes, I am.
An NAACP Image Award winner.
Yes,
what is this like? I mean, here you kind of hit the jackpot in your 70s. What does that recognition mean to you?
First of all, it's just an honor. Like I said, all I ever wanted to be was a working actor. These are some things that have happened since I've been on this show. I couldn't imagine. There's this old saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your dreams. And and this has been far bigger than anything that I could imagine, in terms of the accolades, the people that I work with. And it's hard leaving the house without someone asking me, "Are you Mr. Johnson?"
Yeah.
On Abbot Elementary. And they thank me and tell me how much joy this character brings to them. And like I said earlier, I can't think of anything better. I can't think of a better compliment. I can't think of, people use the word blessing a lot, and I think there's got to be a bigger word because this feels like something much bigger. And for it to happen at this, of course, I wish it had happened a little earlier, but
Sure.
yeah, but it happens when it's supposed to happen. And I call it actual proof. I try to, especially instill in these young people, just don't give up, don't quit. Rule number one, I got this from Duke Ellington. Rule number one, don't quit. Rule number two is never forget rule number one. And that's where I try to do this.
Yeah. You have a quote that's floating around out there. I'm not sure I got this. You said, it might have been on a social media post. You said, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. Tell me what that means to you.
It means if you're not enjoying not just what it is you're doing, but your life, what does making a lot of money or the recognition that you receive, what does that mean? That's just kind of, it's like a bottomless hole, I think,
Yeah.
If you're not happy and enjoying your life, that means that you can't give happiness. You can't give that to someone else. You can't give that love or that happiness to someone else. And that's the way I've tried to live my life even before all of this has happened, or even before I started acting. I've always tried to be respectful and put my best out to another human being, whether they accepted it or not.
Yeah.
And that's, and that makes me happy.
Listen, Mr. Johnson is such a great, memorable character. The show is terrific. Your story is really inspiring.
Thank you.
Really inspiring. It's an amazing run. It's funny. There's like sliding doors. Every step you took along the way led you to this.
Right.
And it means every step was the right step, right?
Yeah. Even the side steps and the detours and the bumps in the road, they all were there for a reason to get me here.
Get me there.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that this is just a part of the journey.
Yeah. Well, listen, it is so much fun talking to you. It was fun talking baseball too. And the show is terrific. Abbot Elementary, of course, is on ABC and on Hulu. Stan, thank you very much for coming on, man.
And can I call you Steve?
You can.
Steve, thank you for having me, man.
Thanks, man.
Okay, take care.
There you have it. Stan, William Stanford Davis. What a great guy. What an amazing story, man. Hit it big in his 70s. There is always, always, always hope. And he is living proof. Love him as Mr. Johnson on Abbot Elementary. All right, let me bring a couple of my friends in here. We're going to do some thumbs up, thumbs down. Kevin Reece, world-renowned photographer. Lindsey Thiry, who covers the NFL for ESPN. Here is our thumbs up and thumbs down. All right, it's time for thumbs up, thumbs down. Got two fantastic guests today. The world-renowned photographer Kevin Reece, who's done some of the greatest events in all of sports, and Lindsey Thiry, who covers the NFL for ESPN. Guys, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Sure. So I got a couple of things. We're going to do one, thumbs up, thumbs down, but I got a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about first. And we'll start with you, Lindsey. So, Aaron Donald, what do you think?
I mean,
what are the chances?
This is based off some reporting, but very loose reporting. I will say I texted someone close to Aaron Donald to see if this was all, just fun and games or if there was some truth to it. And I wasn't told, no, he's not coming back. I will say, just having covered the Rams for as many years as I did, I have a feeling he's coming back. That's based off nothing but a hunch.
Wow.
Just because, Sean McVay is kind of easy to read. Like, that guy, I hope he never plays poker. He's probably loses every time if he does. But in the past, Sean McVay has been asked about Aaron Donald. He's like, no, he's off enjoying retirement. He's with his family. This is the furthest thing from his mind, on and on and on, right? Well, this time when all those questions were asked, that was not the answer.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of reading between the lines that this is a real possibility based off no one has actually said that. But you put the tea leaves together, you've been around there enough, this has a different vibe to it.
Damn, how good will that defense
That would be crazy.
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, so for you, Kevin, I've got a couple of your photographs. We're going to put them up. The first one, you won't see them. We'll put them up in post-production. But the first one is a shot of Clayton Kershaw that you did. Tell me where that photo was taken and how you came to be the guy that took that photo.
Well, that was that playoff game against the Diamondbacks, and that was the game he got bombed.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, just didn't he give up 4 runs in the first inning? I think it was, or something. Yeah, 2 home runs for sure. That's what I look for. Okay. Honestly, I look for that more than anything else. Action. I can get action all night long. Okay. I can get Stafford going back to pass. I can get Clayton Kershaw pitching all night, right?
Yep.
That I was taught early on in the business that's what you look for. It's reaction, because reaction tells much more of a story than action. Okay? And any contest that I've ever gone to, ever since that photographer taught me that skill when I was still living in New York 100 years ago. That's what I look for. Okay. And
so it's like a moment. You're capturing a moment.
Oh, I'm always looking for it. I mean, any contest I'm at, I make no difference what game I'm at, and it makes no difference what sport. I'm always because, like I said, I can get that action all day long. I can get a touchdown. I can get, and most of the time, a play at home plate or a scoring touchdown in the end zone if I'm in the proper angle. So I can always get that, but that's what I'm always looking for, is the reactions.
Okay, let me put up a second photo. This is Vince Young in the Rose Bowl. I was at this game. Tell me about that picture.
That game, that most people feel, most experts like yourself feel that that's the greatest college football game ever played.
It's one of the great sporting events I ever attended.
Yeah, and certainly we didn't know that going in. And I even have photos after the game, reaction photos. But that was, you could see that they were moving down the field, and FT was having trouble keeping him under wraps. And so I just went down to that end zone. And usually if the ball is beyond inside of 20 or 15 yards,
right?
I usually take myself down into the end zone. And, it's a gamble, because sometimes they score, sometimes they don't. You never know. Yeah, but percentages, and that's another thing I was taught early on in the business, is that you play the percentages. Okay.
Yep.
And I can break that down to you also. But I went down to the end zone, and lo and behold, I got one of the great shots of all time.
Fantastic shot. Fantastic shot. All right. So to Lindsey now. Brennan Sorsby, the quarterback out of Texas Tech, they elected not to allow him into the supplemental draft. He got busted for gambling, including on his own games when he was at Indiana. Are you surprised that the league took that stance with Sorsby, given the fact that a lot of people think first-round talent?
Yeah, I'm actually not surprised the league took that stance because they have been so strict about gambling. Like, their rules are, there's no fudging around. Like, the second they hear about gambling or anything, they start investigating it. And the NFL just cannot, especially with gambling becoming so prevalent, they cannot mess around with welcoming a known gambler into their league because there's just too much riding on this, right? There's too much money at stake for the NFL. There's too much at stake for all the people gambling to even have that kind of conflict of interest brought into it. So, I think it was kind of surprising, the timing of it all. Although, with the deadlines and everything, like they said, well, he didn't get in time, but he got in before the deadline. So I think there's some semantics that were a little bit surprising. But at the end of the day, if you're the NFL, you just can't have a known gambler who's gambling on his own games in college. Like, you can't risk the integrity of the game in the NFL and even introduce that. So I'm not surprised at all that
Do you think he will ever get a chance in the NFL, or is he just done forever?
I don't think he will. I don't think he will. It's about the integrity of the game. Betting has become more prevalent. You just can't have somebody who's doing that in the league. And if you find out somebody in your league is doing it, obviously there's swift action that has to be taken.
I don't think some general manager would take a shot at that.
Oh, I think there's somebody somewhere that will, right? I mean, if your talent outweighs your problems, it's a huge problem. How many people bet on the NFL? And if you have somebody who is a player betting on his own games, like, that just throws the whole thing off. And again, the NFL is trying to really maintain that it can have this and people can bet on their games, and all kinds of companies are involved in betting. So you can't cross wires like this. Have a guy who's done this in your league.
Okay, for you, Kevin, I've got a tweet I want to read. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today, not since I was a sophomore at Fort Hamilton High School in 1973. My beloved Knicks finally won another NBA title. You're from New York. What did that title mean to you? How does it feel now?
Well, I mean, what's most important about it to me? Two things. I lived to see it. I lived to see it. That's number one. Okay, my Jets are next, by the way.
Oh, I can't back you up on that at all. Don't hold your breath, Kevin. Don't hold your breath for the Jets.
My beloved Jets are next. Okay. No, the most important thing to me about it was that when the Knicks got into the finals and they won those first two games, my son texted me. He said, "Dad, I want to be with you when they win that title. When they get to game 4, 5, or 6, or possibly 7, which it didn't go that far, I want to be with you."
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for that, and so that meant so much to me. And he recorded me. They go down on the floor. And I had my Clyde Frazier jersey on, and wow. that was just yeah. So just a footnote, that photo behind me is the house I grew up in.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Was that it's what they call a brownstone, right?
That is correct. That is a house I grew up in. Was built in 1890.
Wow. And are you actually there right now?
No.
Oh, that's just a backdrop.
No.
Yeah,
Fill that out in 1990.
There you go. There you go. All right. So, thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm gonna make a statement, and then you're literally going to either go this or this, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? So here is number one. Legalized gambling is good for sports. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Reece.
Down, down. Okay, good. So, Linz, obviously the league is in bed with these companies now.
Yeah.
And there's real relationships. Why do you think it's bad for sports?
I'm like in the minority here, I think. I'm just like such a purist. I love watching sports for the competition and the game of it, and the betting aspect is just maybe I'm just not smart enough. Numbers are never my thing. There's something about watching it for the gambling aspect that I just think takes away from what sports all about. So that's just kind of a deeply held belief.
Okay.
No other
Kevin?
reason.
Kevin, what about you?
It's been around from the beginning of sports, really, but even though these guys are making astronomical amounts of money in all the sport, even individual sports like tennis and so on and so forth, but I'm with Lindsey on that. The integrity of the game, whether somebody fouls somebody, with 10 seconds left, or purposely didn't hit a free throw or missed a field goal kick, I've seen guys go nuts when a field goal kicker, when the spread was 3 points or something like that, and the field goal kicker missed. I thought a guy kicked a television.
Sure.
Reece, do you remember, like, my first foray into really covering gambling as it related to sports? Todd Gurley at the Coliseum made a smart move. He took a knee instead of scoring the touchdown clock. And I got a text, and someone said to me, "Hey, can you please ask him about, like, whatever this did to the spread? They didn't cover whatever it was. It really affected it." And I was like, okay, like, I don't really know what this means. Yet I'll ask the question that needs to be asked, sure. And it just, like, Todd received so much grief over
And it was the right play.
the right thing to do. And it's like gamblers were all so mad at him, but it was like the right thing to do. Take a knee, clock ran out, they won the game, secured the win, all the things, but everyone was all up in arms, all the gamblers. And I was
So my take on this is, if I've got money on the Rams, it doesn't really affect the game. It's my business, right? Players gambling and the temptation of gambling is very real. And some of those prop bets, like more than, less than 16.5 points or whatever the heck it is on Prize Picks, some of that stuff I think needs to go away. But in terms of, I think it's engaged more people in these games. And there's a purity maybe that's gone, but the reality is that everybody's in bed with gambling, and it's here to stay. It's here to stay.
Business. Yeah.
And it's very good for business. All right, here's one. Next one. First impressions are usually accurate. Thinking. Lindsey said yes. Kevin?
It's the old thing, but you can be wrong.
You can be right. When you meet somebody, are you like, I get that person. I know exactly who they are?
I mean, I try not to judge too quickly, but I think that sometimes first impressions often are accurate of who somebody is. Now, that's not to say that impressions can't change, or, wrong person at the wrong moment, or maybe the absolutely right moment, and then things go downhill, who knows? But I think, generally speaking, the person you meet, the person they are.
Now, Kevin, you are more like, don't judge a book by its cover?
Because I had that experience. I've been married 32 years now, but I had a pretty interesting history there before. And
This sounds good.
if you get my understanding there. And there were a few times where the first impression was not that good, but then when we got together and talked and went out to dinner or a movie, whatever, it kind of changed, so.
Wow. So this is all pre-Tinder, right, Kevin? You would have been a monster on the apps.
I was talking about that the other day. I'd be out of control right now. I'd be out of control.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go.
You had to get a phone number.
Here we go. Next one. Dogs make better pets than cats.
Oh, 1000%.
Yes. Okay. To me, that's a gimme. Cats just don't give a damn. They're like, I don't care if you're home. My dog's cold every time I see
him. Cat don't live with you. You
live
with the cat. Cat don't live with you.
Good way to describe it. Yeah. Do you have a dog, Linz?
I have 2 kids, so I have no dog right now.
Yeah, true.
I grew up with dogs, though. Love dogs. I just don't pick up after my husband, my 2 boys, and a dog right now.
Yeah, there you go.
But that's
Neville, do you have a dog?
Well, we had one. We had to put him down about 2 years ago. It was almost 3 now. We had a beloved. We have this Ashy in the house now.
Mm-hmm.
We had a beloved. He made it to 17 years.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a great
a Labrador. We had a beautiful Labrador.
Especially for a big dog to hang around to that age is amazing.
He was about 60 pounds.
Yeah.
And it was so important to me that my son grew up with a dog because I did not have a dog in that house that you see behind me.
No dogs. I was not allowed to have a dog as a kid, and I've got always at least 2 dogs, sometimes 3 dogs. Right now, 2. They're my best pals. All right. This is an interesting one. You should never meet your heroes.
Oh, thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Down.
No.
So you both think you should meet your heroes?
If you can.
Uh-oh.
I got visuals here. Ken Griffey Jr. Sports hero, right?
Very nice.
Ended up being all the things I could have ever dreamt my sports hero to be. So, let me just say, I know sometimes it can go wrong.
Yeah, it
but
can.
For me, it went very, very right. He knew I was an intern at the Mariners. I needed a demo tape, and my entire demo tape was with Ken Griffey Jr. going to interview with me every couple homestands. And then you could see behind the scenes when he would take all the kids in the clubhouse, and the brothers and the sisters would leave with bags of stuff. And you're just like, he is everything as a little kid you could have ever dreamed him to be.
Oh, that is so cool. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Kev, you think, generally speaking, meet your heroes?
I have 2 separate photos taken about 20 years apart, maybe even 25 years apart, with me and Walt Clyde Frazier.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It's about 25 years apart. And I have a photo of me and the Newt, Don Newcomb, my father's favorite player.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have a photo of me and Broadway Joe.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I actually think you should try to meet your heroes. It doesn't always turn out the way you hoped. As long as your hero isn't Barry Bonds, you should be okay. Barry is such a jerk to me. When I was in your shoes, Lindsey, where I was just starting out and the station told me, go get Barry Bonds and get a couple of bites from him. And I went to Barry Bonds and I said, I think I even said Mr. Bonds. I was all of 21. Mr. Bonds, can I sometime in the next couple of days borrow you for a couple of minutes to do a quick interview? And he was sitting with Will Clark. And Barry said, I don't hear anything, Will. Do you hear anything? And Will said, no, I don't hear a thing. And that was it. And I thought, what a jackass he is. But more often than not, they turn out to be great.
Yeah.
So definitely try to meet your heroes. All right, last one. Social media has made sports journalism worse. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, that's a tough one.
It is a tough
one. I have a very strong opinion about social media, period. Okay. But, okay, all right. Personally, I have, 2 things. I refuse to make any comments politically whatsoever.
Right, good.
None.
Yeah, I have no interest in that either.
Yeah, okay. But the other side, I really enjoy it, actually. I really do. Yes, I do. I love posting my photos. I get so many likes.
Yeah.
And it's not even about, for me, it's not even about likes. It's really just showing my artwork.
Yeah, I was on your Facebook page. There's amazing photography there.
But first of all, I don't, for the record, Steve, you and I have talked many times, but for the record, I don't consider myself a sports photographer. Okay. I never have. I consider myself a visual artist. Okay.
Yep.
So I just want to share my images with people. I try not to pat myself on the back too much, but I'm a damn good photographer.
You are an unbelievable photographer. You're spectacular, man. So is that a thumbs up on social media, right?
And as far as sports goes, I think the thing that I think is that it's hurting somebody like Lindsey. Okay. Because they, as we've seen with LeBron, LeBron doesn't, you can't quote the dude. He puts it out on, or should I have to, which call?
Oh yeah, that's right.
He beats everything, social media beats everything to the punch.
Yep.
And so I think it hurts writers who are professional, who, have devoted their life to this art or not to the media. And that's the down part of it, I think.
Okay, so Lindsey, thumbs up, thumbs down. Social media has made sports journalism worse. You're on the spot.
I mean, okay, it's made it sports. So I'd say it's thumbs. I think it's made it. I don't know if it's made it better, but I'd say it's an overall net positive.
Net positive. Okay.
Okay. First of all, I have to admit, like, I was like coming up in the day of Twitter when Twitter was like still really growing.
Yep.
And I probably wouldn't be in the chair that I am at ESPN without Twitter, because I was working at scout.com, like very small site. No one read my work there, but people saw the tweets and all the stuff that I put out about USC. And so they were like, wow, like, who's this young woman at the time? Old woman now. And so
still young, Lindsey.
Thanks. Needed that. Thanks. So positive there. I do think it's hurt in a sense. It's like everyone's in such a race to be first, and everyone's just race to be like, why aren't they writing this story? Where's this story? And it's like, good journalism takes time, A big story breaks, and that just might be like the tip of the iceberg, but to get all this stuff that comes under it, that just takes time. And the internet is often so brutal and so mean. They're like, no reporter's doing their job. It's like, well, calm down, patience. Like, just because like this scandal broke on Twitter doesn't mean that all the details can be found overnight. Like, people just want such instant stuff, and that really is bad for journalism.
So the tip of the iceberg is the breaking news, which I think is way overrated. I think breaking news is overrated. I want to know what the news means. You can tell me so-and-so signed with whatever team. I want to know the impact. And so when you get past the tip of the iceberg and you get down to the actual journalism, this is how I find really good stories to read. When you send out a link, or when any really good writer sends out a link, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I gotta read this. I want the analysis. So the breaking news is less important to me than all the other stuff that I get beyond it.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
All right, there you have it. Hey guys, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for doing it. Kevin, amazing work. Visual artist, Kevin Reece, and NFL reporting artist, Lindsey Thiry. Thank you guys both for coming on and doing this.
Thanks, Steve.
I agree, Steve. I really enjoy it. I'll be seeing Lindsey soon anyway.
Season
that's right.
That time of year, camp opens up in what, 2-3 weeks? I think.
I'm not talking about it. I'm not.
Yeah. I'm ready. I personally am ready for it.
No, you guys, this is not the camp I live in right now. We need summer vacation for a while longer.
Yeah, we're going to Cabo next week, so
there you go. So get a little vacation in before it all starts. Guys, thank you so much. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Lindsey.
Thanks.
All right.
Kevin Reece, amazing photographer. Lindsey Thiry, great NFL reporter. I appreciate both of them coming on and doing a little thumbs up, thumbs down. Some interesting questions there. That one I love is our first impressions always accurate? Maybe you have a reaction to that question. You can leave your comments down below on YouTube. Subscribe to the show on YouTube. You can comment at any time. Make sure to hit the like button, pound that like button. It always helps us with the algorithm and all that kind of stuff. If you are listening on Apple and Spotify, subscribe to the show. There's always something good coming out, and leave us a 5-star rating and a review. This show is brought to you by my friend Jacob Imrani. If you're involved in any kind of accident, he is the guy you want here in Southern California. It's 800-345-6789. If you are involved in an accident, I trusted him. You can trust him too. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you next time on Mason Plus.